by the way, they just announced today or yesterday um, a blanket tariff on automobiles worldwide.
25%. Yep.
That's right.
Uh, well, just go into it, Mike. What do you think about the tariffs?
Well, I think I said this on a prior show. I'm not really a fan of the tariffs, to be honest with you. Economically, I don't understand the concept, meaning that unfortunately for Americans and for America, unless we produce the good, then a tariff isn't going to be super effective.
Right.
And what I mean by that is if you're going to put a tariff on a television
Mm-hmm.
and we don't make any
Mm-hmm.
TVs in America, then essentially the consumer, the person that's purchasing the television, is going to pay that 25% or whatever percentage that the tariff was put. That's going to get passed on to the consumer, just like anything else. And without the motivation to force companies, either whether they be American or foreign companies, to produce the product in America, it's unlikely that that tariff is going to be effective. So, in the case of automobiles, the problem I see here, so I could support the automobile tariff a little bit more because we produce automobiles in the United States. So the idea behind the tariff is that it will increase purchasing of U.S. made products, and it will possibly even incentivize foreign companies, which, by the way, are already doing this. Toyota,
Mm-hmm.
Nissan, and everybody really,
Just about all of them.
Volkswagen,
Yeah.
are producing. All of them are producing vehicles in America, and it would, in theory, it should increase the likelihood that they were going to maybe open up new factories and employ more Americans. So I get that. However, I'm going to give you the contrast to that. The problem on the other side of this is that we've become a very international commerce society. And if you look at the contents of any given vehicle, I mean, there's a part in it that comes from virtually every damn country in the world, even an American built. So you could take a Chevrolet that's built in America. It's got parts coming from Africa, from Asia, from Mexico, from Canada, I mean, you name it, it's coming from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So the reality is that, I could use that same example. So if, for instance, the dashboard of a Chevy is coming from, Vietnam, because that's where the plastic factory is to make it. And unless we have that plastic factory in the United States, the incentive is lacking. And not only do we need the manufacturing capability in the United States, we need the people to do the work. So you have to have the factory, you have to have the raw materials, and you have to have the workforce. And that, unfortunately, is where America keeps running into problems, is that we don't have a workforce in the United States. Our workforce is very geared towards, has been pushed into, over the course of the last really 50 years, into a service industry. We are service oriented, and we are largely white collar job base in the United States. So the problem is that we don't have a lot of work. Look, the incentive for years has been get everybody to go to college. Great. So they go to college, they get out, they graduate, they've got degrees in poetry, and they got degrees on ancient history, and they got but none of these things are going to help the economy, right? We lack tradespeople. We lack plumbers, electricians, engineers that can be, tool and die is a big one. Like, right, if you're going to manufacture anything, you got to tool and die the crap out of stuff. Even Elon Musk said Tesla, which, by the way, Tesla is the number one American car company, or I should say, has the highest percentage. It is the company that you can legitimately say are American-made vehicles. Most of their products are made in the United States. But even Elon Musk said yesterday the tariffs would hurt them because there are products that they have to bring in to make their cars from overseas.
I agree with everything that you said. And this falls in line for people who didn't see the reasoning behind the big deal with us getting minerals from the Ukraine and wanting Greenland and trying to make a deal with Canada. Uh, Moving forward with all of these tariffs is going to affect so many things that we manufacture because we don't have the base materials to build them or make them.
Yep. No, that is true.
And then you can even look at it as food, Mike. We can't feed ourselves.
No.
Like for instance, a bag of grapes right now, that's out of season. There's nowhere in America that you can make you could have grapes or enough grapes to provide for enough, the total population. So where do we get them from? We get them from Chile. We get them from Mexico. We get them from different other places. We need that, and we need that not to stop. A lot of our food, believe it or not, comes from farms in Norway and places
Yep.
like that.
Lots
So we can lose this war. And I like that you isolated the cars. If it had just been the cars, that would have been like perfect. And
mm-hmm.
everything else, the transition is too rough.
Yep. It's too long.
Right.
I mean, eventually, to be honest with you, America, between the lower 48 states and Alaska for sure, has huge amounts of resources that largely are untapped because it's been cheaper and politically more correct to take a lot of the products from overseas, like oil, like natural gas, like, there's a lot of stuff that we get from other places that we have tons of. I was reading an interesting article the other day. I guess I didn't know this. There's more oil reserves in the United States than any other country. And I did not realize that we were like the number one oil producing nation in the world right now. I did not know that. Like I would have guessed.
Trump been saying it like crazy.
I know.
That's his spiel.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have thought of that. I would have been guessing Saudi Arabia or Venezuela or somewhere else. But not only are we number one producer, we're also have more reserves than they actually do. Our limitation is, like I said, it's politics and a faction of people that don't want to take it out of the ground. But by the way, they're okay as if it's coming out of the ground over by those people. That's the old saying. It's we don't want to pollute as long as it's not in our neighborhood. We're okay with that.